here in the Eagle's Nest because it's a Tuesday and we're going to make Tuesday the best day yet. So with that being said, it's Tuesday, February 1st. Yesterday, we had a lot of fun on announcements as we got to talk about Lunar New Year, and I think a lion was able to come down the hallway, right? So how awesome was that? Well, today marks February 1st, which is the beginning of Black History Month. So we are excited to begin talking about some different people, some different ideas, and some awesome things prepared for you this month. So we're going to get started here momentarily. Teachers, if you have not noticed yet, inside the chat box, I have put a link there, and that link will be for at the end of morning announcements today. So just wanted to draw your attention to that it is there. So I'll tell you about that in just a second. So for the whole month of February, we will be celebrating, right, the life and contributions of African Americans here in the United States and beyond, and looking forward to getting started with that. But before we do that, we're going to make sure that we're following the Fairview 5. So the Fairview 5, right, is everything that puts us together and makes us who we are is elite scholars here in the Eagle's Nest. So it might be a Tuesday, right? And I know Friday is the day that we get that feeling of like, man, it's Friday and we're going to have a great weekend. But we can still do that on a Tuesday, right? We could just got to find it somewhere, dig deep, right? And so one of the ways that we can have a great day is by following the Fairview 5. And so one of the ways to do that, actively listening to the speaker, right? So you're doing that with your whole body, with your hands, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your body, your heart, your feet. I've got it memorized, right? Your brain, forgot that one though. And then number 2, you want to keep your hands and feet to yourself. That's a very important thing to do, right? Making sure that we're keeping our hands and feet to ourselves, making sure that we're not touching the artwork or murals or anything like that, that we are keeping and preserving those, keeping them safe. Number 3, we're cleaning up our area. Number 4, being kind to others with our words and actions. And number 5, doing our best. So let's move through here and talk a little bit about Black History Month. So this is the overview. So we'll talk about these 4 things throughout the week and throughout next week, as these are the 4 main things, because I want you to know why we celebrate Black History Month, when, and all of those different things. So this is basically like a little introduction, so follow along with me. And this month, here's what we're going to be doing: Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So today's Tuesday, but on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, we're going to be spotlighting different figures, either past or present, meaning from the past or right now in today society, by reading about their contributions. So we'll be doing a read aloud here on the morning announcements. And today's Tuesday, which means we'll be doing one this morning. On Wednesdays and Fridays, our grade levels will be on the morning announcements, reading and sharing about a prominent figure that they have chosen to share about. So I'll just be in the back learning, right, with everybody else. And so our scholars from those grade levels, 1 or 2 scholars, will be on the morning announcements making that happen. I'll show you that schedule here in just a minute. And then February 14th through the 18th, we will be having a Spirit Week as we celebrate Black History Month as a school community. Looking forward for you to seeing those items that you can do and dress up as, and then participating in that on the week of February 14th. And last but not least, also on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, there's going to be a trivia question of the day. And then I want you to try to answer it as a class without looking it up at first, right? And then you'll log your answer there on the Google form that is in the chat box. And at the end of the month, whoever has the most correct answers as a class, right, we're going to put you in a wheel, spin the wheel, and you're going to win a prize. So we're excited about that. So take a look at this really quick. I know teachers know about this, but I wanted to show us again. So tomorrow, our 5th graders, some of our 5th graders, 1 to 2 5th graders, are going to be coming down tomorrow, leading announcements, talking about a prominent figure that they choose for Black History Month. And then on the 4th, we have 4th grade, the 9th, 3rd grade, February 11th, 2nd grade will be on, February 16th, 1st grade, and February 18th, our kindergarten scholars will be on. And I'll be with you every step of the way, but I'm looking forward to learning with our scholars as we roll through. So I'll show this each and every morning so we can just be reminded of when our day's coming up. All right, so before we do our read aloud today, what is Black History Month? So we're going to be taking a deeper dive into these different topics throughout the entire month. But in case you didn't know, just a little background knowledge or prior knowledge, prior meaning before, right? So before you learn about it, maybe something you've known about Black History Month, but let's put it all together like a puzzle, right? So Black History Month, we know, or most of us know, honors the contributions of African Americans to U.S. history, right? So there's a lot of different examples that we'll go through. So over the next month, we will highlight quite a few figures, but we're not highlighting everybody, right? Because we can't get through them in just 18 school days. We need more than that, but we're going to highlight just as many as we can. But I want you to know that the month actually began as just 1 week. It was a 1 week celebration, which was created in 1926. So we're in the year 2022. So back in 1926, it was created by Carter G. Woodson. Now, he was a historian, a scholar, a teacher, and an author, right? He was awesome. We'll learn more about him in the coming weeks. He'll be one of our read-alouds. But then Black History Month was proposed by Black educators in the Black United States at Kent State University in February of 1969 to be a month-long celebration. So for 1926 all the way to 1976, it was just a week-long celebration. And finally, in 1976, the president at that time was Gerald Ford, and he signed into action that Black History Month would be a month-long celebration in the month of February. And just so you know, Black History Month is not just here in the United States. It's also celebrated in countries like Canada, Ireland, the Netherlands, United Kingdom, all throughout February. So looking forward to diving deeper into these, but I'll show these each day as well, as this is the prior knowledge that I want us to know as we move in to our different readings that we do each and every day. So today, I'm going to pull up my read aloud here in just a minute, but today we're going to spotlight because it is February 1st. And in Greensboro, there is a street called February 1. And then this is a picture of a statue, right, of 4 gentlemen on North Carolina A&T's campus. And it is this is a picture that was taken a few years ago, but if you went to A&T's campus, you would see this today, as it is located there. But I wanted to show you this monument, right? Because any time a monument is made, it's made to celebrate or highlight what an individual or individuals have done. And in this case, it is highlighting who are known as the Greensboro Four, right? And so let me unshare my screen because I want to show you something very quickly. Let's see if I can get to it here this morning. I'm going to pull it up. Boom. All right, you should see it on your screen right now. It says February 1, right? The Greensboro Four protest racial segregation at a North Carolina lunch counter. So if you've never heard of the Greensboro Four, let me scroll down. There's a picture of them right now. That was back from 2010, right? The 50th anniversary. But they did this in Greensboro, right? They did this about 15, 16 miles from where we are right now, which is pretty amazing, right? So that happened in Greensboro. So with that being said, let me make sure that we still see me up here. I think you should. All right, so I'm going to start reading. So when I do a read aloud, I'm going to move fairly quickly to conserve some time, but also want to make sure that you are following along with me so that you can make sure that you're learning any unknown words and also making sure that you're understanding the concept that is being taught or the themes that's being taught today. So with that being said, let's start. On this day in 1960, 4 North Carolina State A&T University students by the names of David Richmond, Franklin McCain, Ezell Blair Jr., and Joseph McNeil sat at a whites-only Woolworth's lunch counter to protest segregation in public places. So if just a little backstory, that word segregation means to be separated, right? So this was a time like in 1960 and before then, there was a time where if a black person wanted to eat in the same place as a white person, it wasn't going to happen. They had to eat in separate places, right? So there's that word segregation. So that was in public places such as restrooms, restaurants, malls, right? Any public place that you can think of, parks, right? And so the government tried to keep everybody separated. And so then there was this movement to try to end segregation. And in 1960, we're learning about one of those here. So it goes on to say, I felt so at peace and so self-accepted at that very moment. Nothing has ever happened to me since that topped that good feeling of being clean and fully accepted and feeling proud of me, said McCain at the 50th anniversary of the act in 2010. Paragraph 2, it goes on to say, according to some, the well-publicized February 1 Greensboro Woolworth sit-in was actually planned and originally supposed to be executed by students at Bennett College. a black women's college in Greensboro, North Carolina, that's still there today. Because most of Bennett students lived on campus and went home for the holidays, leaders were concerned about who would sustain the movement when the Bells went home for the Christmas break. So 5 years before the 4, on a cold January day in Baltimore, Morgan State College student Helena Hicks and a group of her classmates went into Reed's drugstore to order a hot beverage. They were refused service, but they sat quietly at the counter, waiting to be served anyways. One of her classmates, a student from Africa, risked deportation for breaking the law. But the student's actions eventually led to a desegregation of Baltimore's lunch counters. After graduating from Morgan, Hicks enrolled at Howard University for graduate school, and she picked the calls back up, going into all the eateries up and down Route 1 on journey 45 miles south to D.C. So I wanted to show you real quick in this last paragraph, right? This says 5 years before these 4 gentlemen sat at the Woolworth in Greensboro to protest segregation, right? There was a group that did this, right, from Morgan State College, right, led by a few females that were able to sit at Reed's drugstore and did the same exact thing. So this just wasn't what we would call an isolated or one-time thing. This was something that was happening all throughout the 50s and the 60s, where African Americans were wanting to make sure that segregation was ending and what we call desegregation. And this was one of the peaceful protesting ways that was done during the time. So I've sent this to your teachers so your teachers can continue this. There's a couple activities, grade level appropriate down there, and also some further questions that you can ask. But today we highlight, for February 1st, we highlight the Greensboro 4, or the February 1, right? Our the 4 gentlemen that sat at the Woolworth lunch counter about 16 miles away in Greensboro. So let me come back up here and re-share my screen. So here we go. So want to make sure that on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, we end with our trivia question for the day. So there was one last picture, of course, of the Greensboro 4 spotlight, but I want you to take a look at our trivia question for the day. And teachers, whenever you are ready, you can do it even after announcements. You just click that link and you can log in your answer for today. And I'd love for a couple of guesses to come through for classes first instead of looking it up first. But this is also a great activity, scholars. So once you receive this question each day, you and your teacher and staff member, you can research a little bit more about these individuals or this group or whatever the trivia question may be about. So you can learn a little bit more in the month of February as we celebrate Black History Month. So without further ado, today's questions, and make sure you're clicking that link. February 1st question is, what was the name of the African American fighter pilot group formed during World War II? So don't put it in this chat box, right? Click the link and you can log that answer. That link will be updated each day so that you will have an opportunity to put in the answer tomorrow. So whatever students or scholars come up with today, make sure you're logging that in. One answer per class. But what was the name of the African American fighter pilot group formed during World War II? And that question is also in the link as well. So when I end announcements, if you still need teachers to know what that question is, it is there. Hey, it's 7:42, time to get after it today. Scholars, thanks for letting me do a read aloud today on the Greensboro 4. Just as I said earlier, anytime that your teachers would like you to do so, I encourage you to research a little bit further about anybody that we talk about on the morning announcements, not just in the month of February, but especially right now. So if you want to do some further studies on the Greensboro 4 or about whoever the answer is here for today's question, you are more than welcome to do so, as there is a lot of great information out there about the people that we are going to discuss this month. All right. Hey, looking forward to seeing you in action today. It's now 7:43. I got to get you going. So make sure that you are being great today, because you are great. Follow the Fairview 5 and have a fantastic day in the Eagles Nest.